Our planet stands at a crossroads. The choices we make today will determine the fate of generations to come. Climate change is no longer a distant warning, it is upon us, unfolding before our eyes. The evidence is irrefutable: rising global temperatures, melting ice caps, and increasingly frequent extreme weather events. These are not isolated incidents, but interconnected symptoms of a planet warming at an alarming rate. The science is clear. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, are the primary drivers of this crisis. The longer we delay action, the more severe the consequences will be. We are rapidly approaching a point of no return, where the damage inflicted upon our planet will become irreversible. The future of humanity hinges on our ability to confront this challenge head-on and chart a new course towards a sustainable future. The time for complacency is long gone. We must act now with urgency and determination to safeguard the future of life on Earth. The window of opportunity is closing, but it is not yet shut. Every single one of us has a role to play in shaping the future of our planet. Our daily habits, seemingly insignificant in isolation, have a cumulative impact on the environment. From the food we consume to the energy we use, our choices have consequences. Consider the impact of our transportation choices. Every time we choose to drive a car instead of walking, cycling, or taking public transportation, we contribute to the release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. By making conscious efforts to reduce our reliance on fossil fuels, we can significantly reduce our carbon footprint. The fashion industry, for example, is a major polluter, responsible for a significant portion of global greenhouse gas emissions. By choosing sustainable and ethically produced clothing, we can reduce our impact. Similarly, reducing food waste is crucial. By composting food scraps and making an effort to consume what we purchase, we can minimize our environmental impact. It is the collective impact of billions of individual choices that will determine the fate of our planet. The consequences of unchecked climate change are far-reaching and devastating, impacting every corner of the globe. Rising global temperatures are already causing glaciers and ice caps to melt at an alarming rate, contributing to rising sea levels. Coastal communities face an existential threat from inundation, displacing millions of people and devastating infrastructure. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, and wildfires are becoming more frequent and intense, causing widespread destruction and displacement. These events have devastating impacts on human lives, property, and economies. Changes in precipitation patterns and increased temperatures threaten crop yields, putting global food security at risk. The impacts of climate change are interconnected and cascading, creating a ripple effect that is felt across the globe. The longer we wait to take action, the more severe and irreversible these consequences will become. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is a profound threat to human health and well-being. The World Health Organization has identified climate change as the single greatest threat to human health in the 21st century. Rising temperatures, extreme weather events, and air pollution have direct and indirect impacts on human health, leading to increased morbidity and mortality. Heat waves are becoming more frequent and intense, posing significant risks to human health. Air pollution, exacerbated by climate change, is linked to respiratory problems, cardiovascular disease, and premature death. Rising temperatures and changes in precipitation patterns can create favorable conditions for disease vectors such as mosquitoes and ticks to thrive. Waterborne diseases such as cholera are also on the rise due to contaminated water sources and flooding. The impacts of climate change on mental health are also significant. We are living through the sixth mass extinction event in Earth's history, driven by human activities. The rate of species extinction is now estimated to be 1,000 to 10,000 times higher than the natural background rate. Climate change is a major driver of this extinction crisis. Rising temperatures, changes in precipitation patterns, and extreme weather events are disrupting ecosystems and pushing species beyond their limits. Habitat loss, driven by deforestation, agriculture, and urbanization, is another major threat. The loss of biodiversity has far-reaching consequences. Ecosystems provide essential services that sustain human life, such as clean air and water, pollination, and climate regulation. The decline of these services will have profound impacts on our well-being and survival. Conserving biodiversity is not just about protecting individual species, it is about safeguarding the integrity of ecosystems and the life support systems upon which we all depend. The impacts of climate change are not evenly distributed. Vulnerable populations, often those who have contributed the least to the problem, bear a disproportionate burden of the consequences. Developing countries, many of which are located in tropical regions, are particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Limited resources and infrastructure make it challenging for these countries to adapt to these changes, exacerbating existing inequalities. Within countries, marginalized communities often face the greatest risks. Low-income communities, indigenous populations, and communities of color are disproportionately located in areas prone to flooding, heat waves, and other climate hazards. Addressing climate change requires a commitment to climate justice.